President-elect Trump launching his thank you tour in Cincinnati tonight with a major cabinet announcement. This after celebrating a win in Indiana with grateful workers who get to keep their jobs. But at what cost? Is America first good for the rest of our economy? Here's ABC's David Wright.
The president-elect appears to be basking in his new job.
I'm here today for one main reason, to say thank you to Ohio.
Tonight, addressing a rally in Cincinnati, where he surprised the crowd by letting them in on a marquee cabinet pick. His choice for Secretary of Defense, retired Marine Corps General James Mattis, former head of the U.S. Central Command.
We're not announcing it till Monday, so don't tell anybody. Mad Dog. He's great.
But Trump gave over most of his day to jobs that are a bit less exalted than running the Pentagon.
We're saving the jobs at the Carrier plant from going to Mexico, 1,100 jobs.
This morning in Indianapolis, we met some of those workers. Among them, Paul Roll and his family, who feel like they've won the lottery.
I'm pretty excited. Actually looking forward to going to work today.
He's been working at the local Carrier furnace plant since he was 18 years old.
We get to keep our home. He gets to keep his job. We don't have to move our children around.
A job that, until today, he thought he was about to lose.
I love you.
Love you.
I'll see you after work.
Earlier this year, Carrier threatened to close the plant where Paul works and move 1,400 jobs to Mexico.
I mean, we didn't see any hope in our jobs being saved.
The grim announcement from management captured on camera by one of his co-workers.
Is to move production from our facility in Indianapolis to Monterrey, Mexico.
A punch to the gut for these workers. But today at that same plant, the president-elect was here to tell them he saved the day. The inauguration still more than a month away. Donald Trump was already celebrating the first big victory of his administration.
Companies are not going to leave the United States anymore without consequences.
Trump's triumph today means that for now, Paul Roll's job is safe.
So this is a good day.
Yes, it's a very great day.
Good Christmas this year?
Oh, yeah, very good.
During the primary campaign, Trump was the first candidate to seize on the Carrier closing, telling the crowds at his rallies that he'd call the CEO personally.
It's not presidential for the President of the United States to call up the head of Carrier. Hello, this is the president. But I don't care. It's so much fun for me. I love doing it. Please
Trump vowed to make Carrier an offer they couldn't refuse.
Every single unit that you make in Mexico and you sell in the United States, we're going to put a 35% tax on that unit, and I hope it works out well for you folks.
Fast forward to today.
Donald Trump did just what he said he would do. He picked up the phone.
Carrier gets $7 million in state tax breaks over the next 10 years. In exchange, they'll keep 800 manufacturing jobs at the plant here in Indianapolis, along with 300 or so white-collar jobs that were never scheduled to move. But Carrier and its parent company still plan to move 1,300 jobs to Mexico, half of them from this plant, half from another plant in Huntington, Indiana.
I think it remains to be seen. Is Donald Trump going to call company by company to try to get all jobs where companies have threatened to move to another country to outsource? I think that's pretty unlikely for the President of the United States. But he made this promise on the campaign trail, and he kept it.
Outside today's event, we met some of the Huntington workers. Trump voters shut out of today's celebration.
I don't understand how they can save these jobs and not look a little north to save those too.
Right. Do you feel let down by Trump?
Right now I do.
The problem is that the situation at Carrier is not by any means unique. In fact, it's happening all across the Rust Belt. Right now, we're headed about a mile away from Carrier to a plant that's going through exactly the same thing.
This plant has been here for 40-plus years. Rexnord manufactures steel bearings, good union jobs that pay an average of $25 an hour. But just a couple of months ago, the management here announced plans to close this factory and shift all 350 jobs to Mexico. Among the workers set to lose their jobs, these guys.
So this will be my second plant closure.
Where'd those jobs go?
80% of that work went to Shanghai, China.
And these jobs are going to Mexico?
Monterrey, Mexico.
These business models that they're practicing over here, moving these jobs out of the country, may look good on Wall Street, but it looks like hell from Main Street. I can tell you that right now.
It's greed.
Pure greed.
The fact is, the U.S. has lost 5 million manufacturing jobs since the year 2000, partly due to jobs being moved overseas as a result of NAFTA and other trade agreements, but also partly due to technology, computers and robots taking over assembly line work that used to be done by humans. Today at the local union hall, they were thankful Trump seems to have saved hundreds of steel workers' jobs, but concerned about the bigger picture.
First of all, we're appreciative of the work that Trump did do. There's still 1,300 jobs from Carrier that's going to Mexico. Trump didn't say that today.
Right now, there's about 4,000 jobs in Indiana alone going to either abroad or overseas in our state right now. 4,000. When's the bleeding going to stop?
Trump has now set a precedent for offering tax breaks to save jobs. Will every company now be lining up for a handout?
It sets a very dangerous precedent. The president should not be picking winners and losers, should not be calling businesses.
Economists point out the U.S. has tried this before, trying to pressure companies to save high-paying jobs in the 1930s. It helped trigger the Great Depression.
Donald Trump is an economic nostalgist, and that's very dangerous. He thinks keeping the jobs of the past is the path to prosperity.
All of that is a problem for another day. Bottom line, Trump got something priceless out of this, politically.
What really mattered was that Donald Trump was able to prove, at least now, that he could follow through on a promise. This buys him a lot of political capital.
And even if it wasn't all good news for the workers, there was reason to celebrate. Remember that viral video that started the whole conversation?
To move production from our facility in Indianapolis to Monterrey, Mexico.
Lakeisha Austin is the woman who shot it. She had no idea how it would end up.
Did you ever think that that small action would save all these jobs?
No, and I really didn't.
You saved your own job.
You know, I've said it before, it's part of God's plan.
But I think a lot of your coworkers are saying, thank God.
It's really because of him. The position that our president-elect has right now, I feel God put him in that position.
The way she sees it, Trump hasn't even taken office yet, but already he's doing the Lord's work. I'm David Wright for Nightline in Indianapolis.